Hello Dankers, it's Mad and welcome back to another quick tank review. Today we're going to be looking at the Tier 8 Japanese Super Heavy, the Oh-Ho. Carries on the tradition of being huge, very heavy, and utilising huge, thick slabs of armour. And weight, lots of it, and size. And just ridiculousness. Is that a word? It is, isn't it? Yeah, so this tank does have some really big strengths, but I find it quite... what's the word? Very situational in when those strengths actually become useful. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're in a tier 9 or 10 game versus good players, or if you're in an open map versus lots of red squares, the way to play this tank is to bend over, put your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. But on the other hand, when you get top tier matchmaking or you're against idiots, this armour allows you to just be God, basically, and I'm going to try and highlight that in some gameplay. Look at the front of this tank now though. The one biggest drawback about this tank is right in your face, literally pointing at you. Look under the gun. There's two mini turrets. What do you think those mini turrets do? Yes, they stop the gun coming down, giving you gun depression from there to there. So yeah, where do you do most of your fighting? From there to there. So yeah, what could be a very good tank spoilt by these two nipples. Anyway, so let's get into the tank itself. There's one main point I want to talk about first, the packages. Ignore the stock tank, it's a grind. You've got two choices of top gun. You can have the tier 8 100mm from the Oni, or you can have the 15cm howitzer. Right, so what is the big drawback about this gun that's apparently a higher tier? Well, let's go into it. Have a look at the penetration. Something missing there, isn't there? You've got 215 AP pen and 53 HE pen. No premium rounds. So you've got to fight tier 9 and 10 with 215 pen, which in some cases is doable, but if you come up against a well-played E100, a well-played mouse, a well-played E5, or even a hold-down chieftain, you can bend over, put your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. Anyway, so that's why I recommend you use the 15cm howitzer. Now this does give you some other drawbacks. Rate of fire. It's a derp gun, the rate of fire is not that good. Damage is huge, however that is for an AP pen or a HE pen. If you pen your HE, you got 910 average damage, but you will rarely pen your HE at this tier, so you're looking at 300 to 400, down to, well, I showed you that other Oh-Ho replay. I hit a Super P on the gun mantlet. I think it did 80 damage, but that was my own fault for not aiming properly. But if you get the squishy target, there's always a chance of high rolling a Borsig and one-shotting him, which will be funny. Anyway, so that is enough about the packages and guns. It's not too good, to be honest. Run the derp gun, just grind through the tank as quickly as you can. Right, crew skills then. It's a new crew for this tank. As with anything, you want 6 lengths. I went for repairs, brothers in arms. Brothers in arms just helps with all your major crew skills, and this tank likes to get tracked, so repairs will get your tracks on quicker, but also the other modules, and I will be going for track mechanic later on, probably be on the Type 4 heavy by then, but yeah. You can see I'm training clutch braking again. The majority of the thickest armour on this tank is on the front, so being able to turn this tank on soft and medium ground to get that armour around when you need to is quite important in my eyes. Right, next up, supplies, just standard consumables for me. Ammunition, mostly HE. I carry a few heat, but remember the average pen is only 150, so again at this tier, trying to fight tier 8s with 150 pen, unless you get the sides and rear with a big heavy tank that's not particularly fast, it's not going to happen. So it's just a few heat there for one shot in lower tier tanks if I feel I'm in the mood for that. However, most of the time just use a HE. Right, equipment. None fitted at the minute, and something happens in the replay about that as well. Again, just standard heavy tank equipment, large caliber tank rammer, vertical stabilizer Mark II, and improved ventilation. Thing with vert stabs and gun lane drives, the general rule of thumb is if you can fit vert stabs you do, if you can't, maybe gun lane drives is a good idea. Right, so that is about it for that. Let's see if I can work out how to get into the armour model. Quick look at this. Right, let's have a look around, just a quick scan. You can see, apart from the turret, the majority of the frontal hull armour is where it's at, baby, yeah. You'll be doing all the bouncing from the front. If you're an enemy fighting this thing, if your penetration value doesn't start with a 2, you may as well not bother and save your money. If it does start with a 2 or more, worth a go from the front, have a look round. Red means 191 to 230. So yeah, tier 10s can pen this thing with a good roll on their penetration. But even still, I've bounced the entire 57 heavy clip. Maybe he wasn't very good, maybe he was, maybe it was the armour, maybe it was just an idiot. But there you go. Sides are the key for light tankers. This is where you need to be penning. Don't aim for the turret, you can see it's still pretty damn thick. So light tankers, medium tankers, you want to be aiming for the side of this thing. The back end is actually quite thick, so again, things like bulldogs and stuff are going to have a job going through the back of this. But what is the biggest drawback with this tank? Its size and the fact that the entire top of this tank is very weak compared to the rest of the tank. Look at the size of that for an arty target. It's ginormous. And if you look at the areas there, they've probably got a 60-70% chance of hitting something they can pen with their HE rounds. Yeah, another big drawback to this tank. Artillery. Yes, but isn't it always? Anyway, so that's about all I'm going to say about this tank, fellas. It could have been an enjoyable grind if it wasn't for those two nipples. If they were... Oh, they can't remove them, can they? Because that was... I know this is a blueprint tank, but they were on the blueprint, so they have to be there. If it wasn't for those, though, I could recommend this tank. Right, so I'm not going to show you a tier 9 or 10 game where I get my arse spanked. I'm going to show you a tier 8 game where you can be god. Right guys, here we go, but before we get into it, apologies for the garage audio, wasn't as good as I'd normally expect it to be, but I don't have the time to change it, so I apologise about that. Anyway, on to the game then, the OHO top tier matchmaking, a town map, almost perfect. Oh, this would be perfect, wouldn't it? Anyway, so this leads me on to something. Remember in the garage I said I didn't have any equipment fitted? Well, the last time I sat down to grind this tank, I didn't bother to check either. So this is the OHO in the perfect situation, with no equipment fitted whatsoever. So no rammer, no ventilation, no vert stabs. So this is going to be a pretty good game. So if I can do this with no equipment fitted, some of you guys can go absolutely beast mode with equipment fitted. Anyway, so like I said, I am top tier. I am making the most of it because it doesn't happen very often. So watch this aim time, that was a long time with my equipment fitted. Would have been a little bit quicker, but we still make the shot and take the light tank down in one shot with the high explosive round. Probably a pen there. Anyway, so now just making the most of the matchmaking. I'm using my left thumbstick, pushing it forward, and yeah, making the most of it. Right, so there is one tank there that can hurt me, but I can hurt him just as much as he can hurt me. And he is gone, so that's that threat out of the way. So now I've got myself in a bit of a situation. Got a Tiger to my right and a Liberté to the left. The Liberté's a little bit more dangerous than the Tiger, because the Tiger's almost stock. Right, going for the shock trap. Shouldn't really do it on a French tank. Works on Germans, because they tend to have their engines at the front. Probably could have placed that slightly better. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep my armour mainly towards the Liberté, but not giving the Tiger enough to be able to pen my side armour with the stock gun. Anyway, Liberté down. Time to concentrate on this poor little Tiger. I think he's resorted to high explosive now, and it's still doing nothing. He is, well, because I drove straight up the middle, and he picked to drive straight up the middle, and backed into this corner, I gave him nowhere to go. Right, so I track him with that shot. Just checking my surroundings. Remember, the side armour is thick, but not thick enough to bounce tier 7/8. So I am being a little bit cautious, even though I'm playing very, very aggressively. Right, so that's the limit of the gun depression there. Like I said in the garage, you've probably got 2/3 of the front of your tank where you can't get the gun down. But that's the limit of the gun depression at that point there. You can see it just coming down. Still no gun depression to get him. There we go. I'm turning my tank to get his side armour. Don't pen. I think it's 80mm there. I should have aimed a little bit lower, but with the limit of the gun depression, I couldn't. Now time just to enjoy myself. He's low enough health, I can kill him anywhere now. Boom, tiger down. Did take a little bit of damage there. I think I've lost, what, nearly 400 hit points now. We've got 4 kills. I can't even remember which. Oh, it was the artillery of the 4th one, wasn't it? Yeah, I was trying to remember where the 4th kill came from. Yeah. Anyway, so we're winning a lot. Made it quite easy for the team. Have a look at the hammer. He's going to be dead by the time I trundle my way around there in this big slow tank, so I ignore him. Our team have plenty of greens down at the cap, which is going to be frustrating later on. Trying to scope a shot up the top, nothing there. Some tanks pushing the hill, but with the aim time I may as well have not bothered stopping my tank. Right, so it's looking like the top tier. Ooh, that was close. Pretty good for a snapshot. KV2 probably would have hit that. Yeah, so didn't really have to fight any strong tanks there, but good demo of the armour still. Right, so we're pushing back to defend our cap. Right, here comes some tanks what are a little tricky to deal with there. I think he penned my drive wheel there. Suppose a little bit too much side armour. Not going to let him do that again. Right, again, no equipment fitted. Probably would have made that shot there. Just about. And now I'm literally... Right, watch this. Gun depression, none, none, none. And then it drops as you come over the boobs. He's been tracked. Hopefully the T-32 will kill him. Don't have to worry about him in my side armour. Our team are capping. It would be nice if they didn't. Right, so one of the Super Ps is on his premium ammo and it still bounced. As long as you don't expose too much side armour, you're still, even with, what's that, like 250 pen on the premium ammo on that? Yeah, still pretty golden. So the team are capping out. I realise they are, so I just go for a ram, get 60 extra damage. Don't care if I lose some health to the other one. And there we go. The game ends with 0.1 seconds left on my reload. If I'd have had equipment fitted there, I would have got that shot in. As it was during the times 3 event, so loads of XP, 4 kills, 4,420 damage, high caliber, and only a Mastery 1 for just under 2k base. If I could have just got 1, maybe 2 more shots there, that could have been an ace. Right, so there we go guys, hope that gives a good demo of the best time to play an OHO, which is when you're top tier in a town environment. You can just be god. Make the most of it though, because tier 9 and 10 games and open maps versus artillery are very, very frustrating in this tank. Right, so there we go guys, hope you found this a nice honest review of the OHO. No BS here. Cheers guys, I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.